stay tuned because for the next 60 minutes, Motorsports Unlimited is on the air. Hi, I'm Jerry Bryant, and these are the lovely ladies of Motorsports. And all this hour, we're going to have 60 minutes of action-packed excitement. All kinds of exciting things will happen. And we got the famous Bill Wildt, and we got all kinds of other good stuff that's happening all this hour. Motorsports Unlimited, 60 minutes of non-stop action. So let's go to the studio right now, huh?
Thanks, Jerry, and hi, everybody. Welcome to the studio headquarters of Chicagoland's most watched, most talked about Access Television series. I'm Tim Murtaugh, and this is the 434th edition of Motorsports Unlimited. Today we've got Rock'em Sock'em stock car action. We'll see all that later, but first we've got to spend a little time explaining the importance of the event we're covering. We're taking you to Illiana Speedway in Schererville, Indiana for the second annual Signey Molenaar Memorial Race. Who was Signey Molenaar? Well, that's the whole point of today's program. We in the motorsport community don't want her to be forgotten. She was the first lady of Illiana Speedway, having participated in the construction and operation since the beginning. Let's start today's show by learning who this grand lady was from the man who knew her best.
We are at Illiana Motor Speedway, and as the name would suggest, it's just over the border between Illinois and Indiana, thus the name Illiana, in Schererville, Indiana. And we happen to have the man that not only owns this facility, but literally clawed it out of the ground with his bare hands, and he's going to quickly jump in and say, no, we had shovels. I remember his line from the last time. And if you would, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Harry Molenaar.
Harry, we are having a very special event tonight, and I know you're a little bit uncomfortable about me introducing it, but I want to tell the folks about it, and I'll tell the folks in a little bit why he's uncomfortable about this. But what is the event that we're here for tonight?
Signey's Memorial Race. The group decided to have a memorial in her honor, and I figured nothing would be more fitting than a race that she was part of for so many years.
Okay, what we're talking about his wife, Signe, who is now passed on, and I had the absolute privilege and honor, just really about a year and a half or two at the most, of having her on the last interview that she was ever involved with. So in order that the audience understands a little bit more about what we're talking about, I'd like to roll that interview that we did, I guess let's call it 2 years ago now. I'd like to roll that in now so you understand a little more what this is all about this evening. No one is going to believe that I've pulled this off. First of all, I want our audience to know that what we have here are some real heroes in motorsport. And first of all, I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves to you. And you are?
Harry Molenaar.
From?
Hammond, Indiana, from Illiana and with Illiana.
Okay. And you are?
Signey Molenaar, same.
Okay, and we could talk about a lot of things. This is the owner, not just the owner of Illiana Speedway, but the guy that literally clawed it out of the ground with his bare hands how many years ago?
Oh, I had shovels and stuff.
You had shovels. As a matter of fact, you're an old motorcycle flat tracker, if I understand it right.
Yeah, when we laid the track out, I was recuperating from an accident in Michigan on a motorcycle track. We worked for many years building it, and we're still working at it.
Do you remember when you put the track together?
Well, right after the war, we were using this place for Civil Air Patrol maneuvers and so forth, and then after we got through, we traded one of the planes for a bulldozer and went to work. And then we got a grader, and then found out it was a lot of work, and we got a contractor out here to finish the job, and it was a dirt track up until '61, and then we decided too much dust, and we paved it. So
now what year did you actually start it?
1945, I would say, 44 and a half, 45. Right after the war, we were monkeying with it before the armistice was signed, and then we went to work after the papers were okay and so forth. But right after, let's say 45, 46, we used it for motorcycles, picnic rallies and so forth, stuff like that. And then we, after 1948, the people talked about, why don't you run stock cars? So we added the stock cars, and then they finally took over. motorcycles didn't have the audience that the stock cars did at that time, and we stayed with them ever since. Once we paved it, they can't ride bikes on it, they're too fast, and so we're with the automobiles.
You're obviously no kid anymore, and I've got to ask you a question. Do you still have enthusiasm for the racing?
Sure, that's the only reason we're here now. We want to keep it going, and we decided to work at it and make it a bigger, better place and safer and have more fun and like a family place to come to instead of a bunch of rowdies. We've had a real good follow through with the cooperation of our local talent and people that come from all over. Like you heard, the two of them had just come in from Canada that held the races up to get them time to qualify. So here we go.
Well, I'll tell you, it's a wonderful facility and the only half mile in the Chicagoland area. Now, I've got to ask you, were you involved with him when he was building this thing at all, or did that come along later? Did you come along later?
We've been married since 33.
So you were involved in this the whole time? Did you think he was crazy?
I say, are we horses?
Do you enjoy it yourself?
Oh yeah, we work 2 jobs in the summertime.
Okay, now I understand we've got something very, very important coming up, much more important than the racing, much more important than the racetrack. I understand that you guys have a pretty special wedding anniversary coming up.
60th.
60th wedding anniversary. 60th wedding. Is that absolutely incredible? I can't believe that. Listen, I don't want to hold you guys up because I know you've got work to do, and we could do an hour with you. And one of these days, I've been trying to get him on the show, folks, for this is our 8th year, and I've been trying to get him on from the beginning. Everybody said it couldn't be done. I did it. I'm real pleased, and now I'm going to put his wife to work. This is real easy. I'd like you to look at the camera and say,
Don't go away, folks. We'll be right back.
well, I'm sure you can see why tonight is so special. That was just before your 60th wedding anniversary, and I understand you did get a chance to celebrate the 60th.
We did. Well, today is actually the 62nd.
So that
June 10th, 1933, when we got going on the racetrack and got married and opened up the business in Hammond, and that was our start. And she was with us ever since. She worked and helped maintain this place physically and with the pen and treasuries reports and all that. She was very active in this.
As a matter of fact, it's really a far more interesting story than we could ever do justice to here, but I want you to know just a little bit about this because this is quite a love story. We're talking about people that were together more than 60 years of their life, and in today's age of marriages that seem to last about 6 and 7 months, that's pretty remarkable. But it's more than that. Literally everywhere you go. What I didn't know, Harry, is that you had a Harley-Davidson dealership for 58 years?
Right, correct, 58 years. And they wanted us to modernize it and go to it, and we didn't renew the franchise. Right now we're not with the agency anymore.
Yes, I'm sorry.
We still have the business, but we're just coasting, so to speak, and running the races in the meantime. This would be a bigger part of our activity.
Yes, as a matter of fact, of course, everybody knows Molenaar's. Everybody knows that it was Molenaar's Harley-Davidson for so many years, but now it's just Molenaar's. Interestingly enough, this is, I don't know exactly how to explain this and make it sound cohesive, but the fact of the matter is that, yes, this is his racetrack, and he and his wife did the racetrack. You and your wife also did the dealership. She was heavily involved there.
Correct.
And literally every biker that I have ever encountered knows Signey Molenaar. Do you know that she's that well known?
That's right. That's why we're doing this. I figured I owe that to her. She was a partner, and she was a pal. Let's just use that word. She was a real pal, and I sure miss the situation. I sure miss her more than I. In fact, on the way out here, we have the cemetery right down the street, the road, and I was over there with some flowers just before coming here.
I can't even imagine how painful it must be for you. I can't imagine being with someone for that length of time and losing them. And I want to make one point, and I hope that I can do this as tactfully as possible, because Harry really was uncomfortable about me calling this to your attention, that this is the Signey Molenaar Memorial event, because he didn't want to sound like it was some kind of a gimmick to enhance audience for the race or something, because he didn't really do this. The people that all knew and loved Signey sort of insisted that you do this. Have I got it about right?
Correct, yes, that's right.
And so since this will be on the air after, it won't look like we're trying to promote the thing. And what we really want to do, and I hope this is coming across, is that we really want to honor her memory. So many people knew her. So many people loved her. She was in motorsports literally for the entire 60 years of their marriage, both with the Harley-Davidson dealership and all of the bikers, and also the racetrack and all of the racers.
She even learned to ride a bike, and she took a group of girl riders to the factory in Milwaukee a number of years ago, riding her own bike. She was like a little mother hen with the group.
No,
She always, well, she lived on the memory of that too, which right now I have.
Well, you're exactly right. There are many memories. As a matter of fact, I want to put one, just aside from that for a moment, one quick little thing that I learned. Our regular viewers and our older viewers that have been watching our program for a long time know a lot about Harley-Davidsons. We get a lot of calls about that. But what a lot of them, even they don't know, is that Harley-Davidson had a 125cc two-stroke called a Harley Hummer back in the late 40s and early 50s. And later they enlarged it to a 165. I've forgotten what they called that. Interestingly enough, Harry Molenaar, I came to find out, I went to his shop, and he's got a stand there with an original Harley Hummer engine on it that was presented to him by the factory, and as I understand it, this was because he told them after the war that what Harley-Davidson needs is a small motorcycle like this, and if they would build one, you ordered without sight unseen a lot of them, and that provoked them to do it?
Well, I hope that's the case. So we told them we'd give them an order for 100 if they would build a quality product like that we did have. And they went to it, and of course then they built. Each time everybody liked the human nature, they had to have something bigger and faster, and so they got up along the line and continued to make the models, but enlarge the production on the big ones. But anyway, we were a part of that, and the fact is, we're kind of proud. If you come down Route 30, there's two signs on Route 30 in behalf of the Molenaar name, so to speak. One down here and one on Maryville coming east. And the motorcycle group have arranged to clean the highway every so often, and they've done this and had the sign erected in memory of our efforts.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. The point that I'm trying to get across is we've got a piece of history here. This is so important. That's just one of the stories. There are many more. That Harry Molenaar, a Chicagoland person, although I'm not really sure that that's fair because he's from Hammond, but a Chicagoland person, yes, played a prominent role in the development of one of the Harley-Davidson models. I think that's pretty special.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we're motorcycle enthusiasts from the word go. Let's just say that. And I look back to 1933, and I remember teaching Signe how to get along with the motorcycle, and she kept me running around 40 acres trying to, she'd fall down every so often when he's at the other end of the acreage, but she finally mastered it, and then, like I say, she was so proud when she escorted a group of girls to the Milwaukee deal to see, and they were guests of Hammond Harley-Davidson group at the factory, and enjoyed themselves there, and of course the ride back. Traffic like 30, 40 years ago wasn't like it is now, but anyway, she got along okay, and they did too.
Well, I think it's a wonderful story, and as you can see, this man spent a lifetime with Signe, and I think it is appropriate and proper that we have an event like this, and this is the second annual Signey Molenaar Memorial Race?
We had the first one. Everybody decided that, our group decided they would like to do something, so we talked about it. So we had it last year. It was only 30 or so days after she passed away. And then this is the second one after, which is just a little over a year since, like I say, it was a year in April when she passed away.
Well, I'm going to tell you something, Harry. No one, trust me, no one that knows you would ever think that you tried to promote something. Everyone knows and understands that this is to honor her memory, and certainly it's appropriate. Now we're going to take and get out of the way here because I understand we're going to have some races here tonight. What do you think?
I think we're getting ready for action. They're starting to come in now at the pit area.
Okay,
now be signing up.
Okay, don't run away because I got a cute way of closing this, and also our sharp-eyed viewers have probably already noticed that we've got a brand new girl over here on this side. And would you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Hi, my name is Laura LaPuma.
Laura, how do you happen to be with us today? How did you find out about us?
Through Audition News magazine.
Okay, as a matter of fact, our regular viewers have probably heard that name before because it's one of the publications that we advertise in when we need talent for our program, and this lovely young woman has decided to join us, and we couldn't be more thrilled. Now, we need to get out of this particular interview, and do you remember how we do this? Okay, well, you got it. I'll whisper to you because she's just getting started, folks. What I want you to say is...
Don't go away, folks. We'll be right back.
While we fight back a few tears, let's take a moment to meet the girls on today's show.
Hi, I'm Peggy O'Donnell.
I'm Laura LaPuma.
I'm Tina Lou.
And I'm Sue Kuchan.
Thank you, girls. Now let's go to the pits and meet some of the racers.
The color of this car is blue, but as I hear it, he's second in the point standings, so I don't think this driver is. So first I want to find out your name.
My name's John Rostowski.
Hi, and where are you from?
I'm from Munster, Indiana.
So what is your goal today? Where do you think you'll be placing today when you're running?
Well, I hope it's be up in front all day long.
Well, that'd be great. Can you tell me a little about your car?
Yeah, it's a 92 Camaro. It got a Orion machine shop 355 Chevy in it, and it's a 92 Camaro. It's just, it's been around a while. The car's pretty fast.
How long have you been racing?
I've been full-time since about 85.
That's good. You're very comfortable with it. Bill, you come on in here and get some more questions, some more technical stuff.
Well, very nicely done, Peggy. Very, very nicely done. Let me have you step over here for a moment because I've got a couple things to talk to this fellow about. I looked at the point standing when we started this, and I said, he's third in the point standings. They immediately informed me, absolutely not. They're second in the point standing. Tell us what's going on with the points. And by the way, this is the sportsman division.
It's pretty tight in points. If we didn't have a bad, some bad luck last Saturday, we'd been in sole possession in number one.
Really? You're that close?
As we got Black Flag leading the heat race.
Okay, why were you Black Flag? Be honest.
They said I was setting the pace too fast for the boys.
Oh, that does hurt. It wasn't something falling off the car?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, that does hurt, doesn't it?
Yes. It seemed like I should have went to the back of the pack.
Okay, so you're running right now, and can you tell our audience, for those that don't know a lot about motorsports, there are three divisions that race here. They've got the street stock, sportsman, and late models. Tell us about the sportsman division. What is it? What does it mean?
It's right in between like a street stock and a late model car. It isn't really too awful much difference between them, but quite a bit. Mostly engine and the front frame of the car.
And these classes are developed to try to keep the cost down from the enormous cost of the late models, but it doesn't really help much, does it?
Not really. These cars almost as much a run. Maybe $100 less for a set of tires. That's about it.
What do you think? Do you have a shot at winning the championship this year?
That's what we're going for. I wouldn't be here if we wasn't going to try to.
Have you won a championship before?
I won a championship in '85 at Raceway Park. It was in spectator division.
And of course, I want the audience to know that this is a whole lot different than Raceway Park because we are talking about Raceway Park being a 1/5 mile, almost no-bang track, as opposed to a half-mile. Chicagoland's only half-mile. This one is big and fast. That's got to be a lot different from Raceway.
I'll tell you, in a way, they're similar. I'd say Raceway is almost a harder track to drive,
But no question, I've driven both tracks, and you're right. It's a workout on Raceway Park.
I'd tell you, it seems like you do a lot more work over there. I ain't saying this is the easy place either, but I'd say they're both, in ways equally as hard.
It's like anything else. If you got guys you're competing with, it's always hard. Yes, Peggy? I'm sorry, Tina?
I thought the bank tracks were easier to race.
It's not a matter of easier. The bank tracks allow them to go faster and will allow side-by-side racing. Do I have that about right? It's not a matter that they're easier.
Yeah, we raced one high bank. It was South Bend, and seemed like pretty fast fast track. So we had a car, we raced there. It seemed like the car was flying there. Then we went to Raceway, and the car didn't want to do nothing there. So we had to change it all around.
Absolutely. If they work at one track, there's no guarantee. As a matter of fact, if they get this car working perfectly tonight, there is no guarantee that same setup will work next week.
That's right.
Isn't that frustrating?
A little bit.
Anyhow, I wish you the best of luck tonight and for this season. I want to thank you for spending a little bit of time with us. Please don't run away while we close this thing. Sue, we left you down here all by yourself. I'm sorry, but now it's your turn to shine. Please tell the folks.
Don't go away, folks. We'll be right back.
The sportsman division at Illiana has a tough points battle going on. Let's meet another one of the combatants.
Well, here we are, folks. We we have one hot-looking car here, and we're going to find out whose it is and where he's from. Hi, your name is, sir?
Chris Francione,
And where are you from?
Maryville.
Great. Can you tell us a little bit about this hot car we're standing in front
It's
of?
a 95 Monte Carlo, and it's a 95 Howell chassis, bought from DH Racing.
Hollow chassis. Can you tell us
Howell
what that...
chassis.
Howell chassis. Is that just a name brand, or is it...
Yes, it is.
Okay. And what's under the hood?
It's a 355 Batten Performance motor.
Bat Performance?
Batten Performance.
Can you tell us what that means?
Well, that's just the gentleman that built the motor.
Oh, I
Built
see.
a lot of motors out here. It's very good.
Okay, well, we'll see how good tonight, right?
Yes,
Bill, you
we
want to
will.
come in?
I sure do, Tina. Nicely done. And this young man, on the point thing that I looked at to decide who we were going to talk to, was shown as second in the point standing. And apparently, last week was a double points night, and somehow you had some difficulty and you got bopped back from second in the point standing. If I'm not right, please
Yes,
explain.
that's right. The coil went bad on me, and the motor wouldn't start. We tried to get it running, couldn't do it in time, so we had to sit in the pit, and that cost us quite a bit.
That's got to be discouraging when you're that much in the hunt.
Yes, it is, very.
Are you going for the championship?
Yeah, that was the plan.
Okay.
And we're still going to keep trying, but it's going to be a lot more difficult now.
Well, of course you're right. Consistency is what's important when you're going for a point championship. No question about it. Have you run for the championship before?
Well, we've tried, yeah.
Haven't gotten it.
No, we haven't.
How old are you?
36.
Well, now's the time.
Yeah, it is. It would be nice.
What do you eventually want to do? You eventually want to get into late models?
Yeah, someday if the money's right.
Takes a bunch of money.
A lot of money, and it's everything I can do to run this one.
I was going to say, this is not exactly inexpensive either.
No, it isn't.
Well, listen, I want to first of all wish you the best of luck tonight and for the rest of the season, and hopefully this one disaster of last week isn't going to wipe out the whole season. I'm sure it won't, because the other guys are going to have trouble too. Everybody gets their share. I want to thank you for spending a little time with us. Please don't run away. I want to close this down here at this end. Peggy, we've left you out of it far too long once again, and if you would, please tell the folks.
Don't go away, folks. We'll be right back.
Next, we spotted an old friend of Motorsports Unlimited that competes in the late model division and always puts on a great show.
Hi, we're back here at Illiana, and we've got another beautiful car here. Let's find out who it belongs to. And your name is, sir?
I'm John Nutley from Crestwood, Illinois.
Can you tell us a little about your car?
It's a 1995 Monte Carlo with a brand new Howell XL chassis, and runs pretty fast out here.
Yeah, what place are you in for your startup?
I think we're running about 6th or 7th in points now. We missed opening night with a bad motor, broke the motor opening night.
Oh, that's sad. I'm sorry to hear that. You want to come in, Bill?
I sure do, so nicely done. If you would, step right over here, because we came over to talk to John Nutley for a very important reason. Nobody promotes racing more than John Nutley does, because the car shows we go to in the wintertime, he's always got, first of all, the cars are always gorgeous, he's always got it on display, and this is a guy that believes in going out there and promoting racing to the public, so he's my kind of guy, and you were going to ask.
What's an XL chassis? I've never heard that before.
It's a new 95 chassis that they came out with. They have like two different chassis. One's a regular 95 car, and the new one's an XL chassis. They just changed the name of it a little bit. But they're both pretty fast. This one's a newer, updated version, and the car is pretty quick.
Okay, now if you will hold on 1 second, and as a matter of fact, you can fill in the blanks. We've got a brand new girl with her tonight. This is Laura. Laura has never been to any kind of a local racetrack or anything like this. The only race she's ever been to in her life was the Long Beach Grand Prix with the Indy cars. So this is all new to her, and I'm trying to explain what's going on. Right now what's happening, and Chuck, if you would, broaden your shot and swing down. What has happened is the gates opened about an hour ago or 45 minutes ago. The guys have all been unloading their equipment. Some guys have been going down and getting tires. You guys are getting tires?
Yeah, you caught me down by the tire guy. Brent come down here and interview me.
Right, they're getting tires and getting ready. The guys are making adjustments on their cars, and what they're waiting for is the call for practice to run out, take a bunch of laps on the track, as many as they can get, come back in, readjust the car, maybe get out one more time, see if their adjustments made it better or worse, and prepare for qualifying. Have I properly summarized this?
Real close, yep.
Okay, well, if there's a mistake in there, please help us.
No, there's no mistake. Pretty much just get the cars ready, go out and make some hot laps and make sure the chassis are dialed in right, and maybe scuff in a couple tires, try and get ready for qualifying.
You see, even though this looks like a car to you, the fact of the matter is, this, and it's supposed, what is it? Is this supposed to be a Camaro or what?
It's a Monte Carlo.
Okay, we got a Monte Carlo here. They don't exactly look like Monte Carlos, but they're kind of supposed to look like Monte Carlos. The fact of the matter is, there's nothing on there from a Monte Carlo, is there?
No, everything's refabricated and made by people who special make the bodies in that.
Yeah, the bodies are handmade, the chassis are handmade, the engines are handmade, the transmissions are handmade, the rear ends are handmade. So when we say they're going to go out there and sort the car out and make adjustments to it, it's because unlike your car, you can't go in and adjust all the things that these guys can adjust. These guys can, and they're going for optimum performance. About right?
Yeah, we are. We try and do the best we can with the crew we got. They're great. I mean, the crew's outstanding. They really helped out the car, and over the winter we really put a nice vehicle together for the shows and for racing this season in the 1995 season. And I owe a lot to the crew, everybody in it.
Isn't that the truth? Yes.
The crew involved, how many hours do you spend typically to get this car prepared for these races?
We run between Grundy and Illiana, sometimes Grundy, not every weekend. And we spend usually a good 2 nights in the garage, good 8 hours a night working on the car. It's almost like having another job, but without the crew, I couldn't do it alone.
Except it's a labor of love.
Oh yeah, I've been doing it for 17 years now. I've been doing it for a while.
All right, I want to thank you for spending some time. They are calling cars out. I'm sure you're going to go out and do some hot lapping?
Yeah, I'm going to get into the suit and jump in the driver's seat, and that's my desk right there.
Okay, don't run away. We got to close this piece. Thanks for spending time with us. We appreciate it very much. Tina? The back of this thing is almost taller than you are. If you would, please tell the folks.
Don't go away, folks. We'll be right back.
We learned that there were 3 sportsman drivers locked in a battle for the championship. You've already met 2 of them. Let's meet the 3rd.
Guess what we've got here?
Oh, I couldn't guess.
Go ahead.
A very colorful race car.
Not just a colorful race car. This is the point leader in the sportsman division, and I guess that's not surprising. When we're talking about the point leader, we've got a car that is actually it's a sportsman car, but it's decked out like a late model, and I guess that happens that the faster you go, the more expensive it gets, and the nicer the car looks. First of all, we're going to talk to the crew, then we'll get to the driver, and you are
Don. Don Richardson.
Where are you from, Don?
Hammond, Indiana.
And what role do you play with the car?
Just part-time help.
Nothing like it. Don't say just. They're very important. And you are?
Kenny Thompson.
From?
Maryville.
And what role do you play with the car?
Just the same, about the same as he does.
Boy, don't say just. These are without you guys, he can't do what he does. That's for sure. And you are?
Jerry Coppola from Hammond, crew chief.
Now you aren't just a part-time helper then?
Part-time, yeah. We're all part-time.
Well, I know the feeling. That's the way racing works, and I'll bet you would be the first to agree that without all these guys that say just, you couldn't be doing what you're doing.
You're right. I couldn't do what I do without them. They're a big help.
You're exactly right, and you are?
Perry Parker.
Perry, I understand you're leading, and first tell me where you're from.
Gary, Indiana.
And I understand you're leading in the sportsman division out here.
Yes, I am.
Tell us about your car.
Okay, it's a 1994 Grand Prix. It's sponsored by Hickson Home Improvement, Bentley Service, Discount Auto Supply, DH Race Cars.
Well, now here's a guy that knows how to do it. When you ask him, he'll tell you right away who those sponsors are, and of course that's very important because you can't do it without them either, can you?
That's right, I can't do it without them either.
Okay, I can't help but notice when I look at your car, it looks very much like the late models that are here. You obviously take this very seriously.
Yes, I do.
Taking a run at the championship?
Yes, I am.
Good shot at it? What do you think?
Yeah, we got a real good shot. We got a brand new Howell car, and we got a real good shot at it.
Have you been champion before?
No, I haven't.
Where did you come from? What division?
I raced dirt since '85, and we come here 3 years ago.
Boy, that's a tough transition, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Are you about over it? Have you got it? You're not still putting it sideways, are you?
No, we got it under control now. It's
Okay.
pretty tough for the first couple years.
Well, listen, I wish you the best of luck tonight and in the future. I want to compliment all of you guys, by the way, because I'm sure you all put some effort into this car. You did a great job, Chuck. If you broadened the shot, if you haven't done so already, let the audience see this beautiful piece. Thanks for spending time with us. I want to make sure we keep these girls in on the act. All right. They've got race cars coming by us right now, so let's close this, please, if you would, together.
Don't go away, folks. We'll be right back.
One of the top Chicago late model drivers for several years is personable Mike White. Let's join Laura as she meets him.
As
you all know, I'm new here to the racetrack, my first time, and I understand we have a gentleman here who is second in the, what is it, Bill? The late model point standing. Your name is?
Mike White.
And where are you from?
South side of Chicago.
And can you tell us a little bit about your car?
Yeah, it's a Howe chassis, Monte Carlo body, Joe Ryan engine, which is a good combination for here, motor strong. Howe cars seem to work real well here, so I'm pretty happy with it.
And how do you expect to do today in today's race?
Today, well, we've been running pretty good with it. This week we changed quite a bit of stuff around, so you never can tell. We're either going to make it better or worse. I don't know yet, so we're kind of anxious to get out there and see.
Okay, Bill, you want to ask him anything?
Laura, what did I tell you? This is a super guy, and he'd be the great guy for you to start with because everybody likes Mike White. And as a matter of fact, it's taken Mike quite a while to get that good guy reputation because this guy is tough as nails on the racetrack. I've watched him at Raceway Park, and he has that steely-eyed stare. I asked him the question once about passing at Raceway Park, and he says, well, you got to work your way underneath him, and when you get underneath him, you start coming out of the corner, it's kind of all over, you got him. And I said to him, well, the other guy knows that, he's going to keep you from doing it. And he gives me that steely-eyed stare and says, well, if you do it just right, he ain't going to have nothing to say about it. Am I right?
Yeah, you remember that. Now I kind of remember that. That was a long time ago, but yeah, it's kind of like that anywhere, you know. You put a good aggressive move on somebody, you can make it stick. You know.
You're exactly right. How do you like Illiana?
Oh, I like it out here. I've been running here quite a bit. It's probably the most challenging spot because of the rough asphalt and the way it eats the tires off the car, and you know you got to have a really good setup to be consistent here. Even though it's only 25 laps, you can still get yourself in trouble tire-wise.
Well, it's also the fastest racetrack you guys run on, correct?
Yeah, it's the fastest one around here, but there's plenty of room out there, so that really, you know, it doesn't feel really any faster than, like, say, Grundy, you know, so.
What are you going to try to do this year? Are you going to try for the Illiana Track Championship, or do you go from track to track? What are your plans?
Well, this car here, we just run here for, you know, Tommy Rose is the owner, he owns TNC Auto, and I've got another car that we run at Grundy for another guy, but yeah, I guess we're going to try and run as best as we can in the points, you know, because we plan to be here every night, and but the points kind of take care of themselves, you know, the point structure as far as, you know, if you can make the trophy dash and run top 3 in a feature consistently, you'll have a chance to win a championship, but right now we're just going to try to win some races and then see how the points come down the last month.
Can you handle Frank?
You know, everybody knows he's about as good as anybody in the country when it comes to a track like this, so right now, no, but we're going to work at it, you know. We're going to try.
Well, folks, you got a first here on Motorsports Unlimited. When Mike White says there's a guy he's not sure he can handle, that is a first, and I have a feeling what he's doing is just trying to put a little psychology out there that maybe he'll catch Frank sleeping. What do you think?
Yeah, he's a year older this year, so we'll see. Maybe he'll slow down a little bit, you know.
Well, Mike, thanks for spending a little time with us. I know you want to get out there. You say you want to try some new shocks, right?
Yeah, we made some changes this weekend. I want to get out there and see how it works and see how it goes.
See, now that's what I was talking about, Laura. They've changed some shocks on the car. They've made some changes. He's anxious to get out to try and practice to see if his changes were good, because if it made the car worse, you got to come back and change it, right?
Yeah, we got the other one sitting there ready to put back on, so.
See the way that works? They're not sure. Just because they're new doesn't necessarily mean it's better, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks for spending time with us. Please don't run away. I appreciate it. I want to get down here. We've left Sue out of it. Once again, I've got to figure out a way to keep all the girls in the camera shots all the time, and I haven't figured it out yet. Please tell the folks.
Don't go away, folks. We'll be right back.
We mentioned that there were 3 divisions at Illiana Speedway. Let's take a look at an exceptionally well-prepared street stocker.
Boy, have I found a beautiful first-class street stock car here at Illiana Motor Speedway. And I'm going to ask this gentleman his name.
Joe Jones.
Hi, and where are you from?
I'm from Lansing, Illinois.
And how long have you been racing, sir?
This would be the 4th year.
And I hear that you're doing pretty good on the point standings. Can you tell me about it?
Yeah, we're doing pretty good. Probably better than we thought. We have. This is the first time at this track. We've been racing Raceway for a couple of years and won the championship there last year, so we decided to go somewhere else and try it out somewhere else. So.
Are you prepared for today? Do you have anything new in your car?
No, not really. We had some heavy damage from last weekend. Had a little accident last weekend, and I hope to be back where we were last weekend besides the accident.
Oh, no. Were you hurt?
No, we weren't hurt. Car was hurt a little bit.
Oh, Oh, that's terrible when you got to replace everything. But Bill, you come on in here and get the technical questions for me.
Thank you so much. And I must say, when I look at a car like this, it makes me wonder what happened to the street stock division. This thing does not look like a street stock car. It looks like a late model. You take a lot of pride in your work.
Yeah, the car took 6 months to build and a heck of a lot of work and a lot of help from a lot of people.
Tell us about the car. What have we got?
It's an 85 older Winston Cup body, 85 Monte Carlo. It's on a metric chassis frame.
That's required, I assume.
Yeah, that's required. It has to be a stock chassis, stock frame, in other words.
Yes, Laura, you see the way this works, and Laura's brand new with Motorsports. See the way this works as the divisions build. They start the street stock. This would be what would be called the lowest of the entry-level division for this kind of racing. They try to keep the cost down. They require them to run a factory frame. Yes, they have to put in a roll bars and roll cages and everything like that, but they don't want them going out and buying Howe chassis and stuff like that to keep the cost down for this division. There's also restrictions on engines and all that. On the other hand, when I see one like this, I say, this guy didn't save very much money at all.
No, not at all. This car took quite a bit to build, but we wanted it to look good for the sponsors and everyone else helping out, and we just like nice things, nice and clean. Looks good.
Eventually, you want to go to late models? Is that the idea?
Yeah, I raced a sportsman car last year and kind of ran out of money. We had to do this, but yeah, late model would be nice.
Well, I want to thank you. First of all, I wish you the best of luck tonight. I wish you the best of luck in the season and in getting into a late model. Thanks for spending some time with us. Please don't run away. I want to use the girl at the other end to close this piece. And Tina, you asked me before, Chuck, can you come in on this right here? She asked me what this was. She stood by this on a couple of cars, and I pointed out, if you step back just a little bit, that the gas filler is over on this side, and when they fill the fuel, they need a vent out of the tank to let the air out as the fuel is going in. If you would, please tell the folks.
Don't go away, folks. We'll be right back.
Of course it takes more than drivers and cars to put on a race event. Let's meet another important element.
I have said so many times on the program that what our community, the motorsport community, needs more than it needs anything is communicators. And we've got one of the best right here. If you would, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Stan Kawasinski, I'm the track announcer here at Illiana Motor Speedway.
But you're a whole lot more than that. I've known you for several years, at least as pen pals, I guess we could say. What else do you do?
Well, we do a little writing from time to time for Midwest Racing News out of Milwaukee and also for National Speed Sport News out of Ridgewood, New Jersey.
You've been doing this for a long time.
A long time, about 20 years or so.
What do you think? We've known each other. We've talked about the dilemma of motorsport and attracting public attention to it. What do you think? Are we making some progress?
I think we are. I think your show seen on all the cable stations throughout the Chicagoland area, Northwest Indiana. I mean, people are, cable swap, or I should say station swapping, going through the channels. Hey, what's this? Let's see some cars, some girls, etc. Hey,
it's the other way around. Oh, let's see some cars. Oh, there's cars.
And then it seems like auto racing, though, now you can be a real good race fan just sitting at home with all the auto racing on cable TV.
I think cable has really, really helped motorsports with TNN's work and ESPN's work. I think it has helped us a bunch.
Oh, it has. I think, like you said, those stations coming on, ESPN, another one, you can just Saturday and Sunday sit home, couch potato, and see a lot of racing.
Yes, as a matter of fact, it's interesting because I applaud their efforts. I think they do a wonderful job, and I am particularly pleased that, yes, not only do we see Winston Cup races, which we would expect because that's, Americana and all that, we also see Formula One Grand Prix.
That's right, if you want to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning to watch
and I do.
Sometimes we do.
I do every time. I wouldn't miss a GP for anything. Stan, where do you want to go? You're not a kid anymore. You've been wrapped up in racing for a long time. What do you want to achieve out of it?
I just like working the Chicagoland area, knowing the drivers, the fans, the guys that help on the cars. I don't really think I'm going to go anywhere from here. I think I'll be here in the Chicagoland area for years to come, hopefully.
Well, I talked to Jan Gabriel many years ago when he was the announcer for Santa Fe Speedway and asked him a pretty similar question to that, and he answered in a pretty similar way, and he ended up with a big-time television operation and did very, very well. Any enthusiasm for that yourself?
No, not really. I have a full-time job. I work for the local Caterpillar dealer in town, and I just do this as a hobby. I love it. I've been going to races since I was 5 years old, and we're here tonight.
But trust me, when you read Stan Kawasinski or when you hear him doing the call, this is a guy that absolutely loves racing. Agreed?
Agreed, Bill.
Have you ever raced yourself?
Oh, a couple of media races at Raceway Park once.
But you weren't a guy that kind of came out of the cars and went to the announcers booth. You were always an announcer.
Watching the races since I was 5 years old. Used to do some photography at the races, and somebody said, hey, you want to be the announcer here one day? And I said, sure.
Great. Somebody have a question?
I was going to say it's nice to see the face behind the voice that you hear.
It really is. And in case somebody thought that maybe he wasn't attractive, he certainly is. Okay? You two guys, thanks, Stan, for spending a little time with us. Please don't run away if you guys would together.
Don't go away, folks. We'll be right back.
So far, you've only met guys, and we want you to know there are plenty of women involved in racing. Watch.
Guess what we found? Laura, this is all new to you. You're brand new with our program. The first time you've ever been to a local racetrack. Take a look down here. What do you think we've got here?
Bunch of racing women, maybe?
Racing women, that's a good way to say it. As a matter of fact, I always want our audience to know that Motorsport includes everybody, and look at all of the women that we've rounded up that work on the crews here. And as a matter of fact, we've got one that's also a car owner. First of all, you are?
Pam Papa.
And the car that you're with?
Number 23.
And it's your car?
Yes.
What motivates you to do this?
We really love the sport, and my husband wanted to drive, and rather than drive for someone else, we decided to go in it for ourselves. We started out in street stock.
How long have you been doing it?
4 years.
Are you enjoying it?
Oh, yes, we love it.
Let me tell you something. We are not just talking about people that sit around and look pretty. All the information that she's taking down here, I asked her to come over for the interview. She says, wait a minute, I got to check the stagger on that left rear first. Am I correct?
That's correct.
So you know what stagger means?
Yes, I do.
Tell us.
It's basically the way the car is set up so that it gives the car a certain amount of push on the track.
Well, that's pretty close. It has to do with the circumference of the tires and how you arrange them.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, not bad. Don't run away. Let me get down here because we've got 3 of them here. Oh, I'm sorry?
We need to hang out with these ladies.
Yeah,
they could teach us something.
Because you want to learn more. Tina does want to learn more. She's new with our program. She wants to know more about all this. First of all, you are?
Karen Nayland.
From?
Nayland Motorsports.
And?
Betty Nayland.
Another Nayland?
Nayland, yes.
Nayland from?
South Holland, Illinois.
And?
Deanna Nayland.
Also related?
Yes, I'm the sister.
And I understand they use you for a jack.
Well, more than that, I'm the chief mechanic on the stock car.
Do you really? You work on the car?
Yes.
What kind of compression ratio you run?
Well, that's about a 10.5 to 1.
Do they let you run high like that? You're not required to run 9-to-1 motors or anything like that?
Well, this is called a concept motor.
I understand.
This isn't a 9-to-1 motor. This is basically brought about for the racers to keep them on a budget so they don't have to worry about titanium and aluminum stuff that, keeps a lot of the high budget people away from everybody else.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's a continuous fight in motorsport that is not hard at all to do $30,000 on a motor and blow it up the first time out. That's not hard at all.
No, not
So
at all.
we're trying to control that, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and what's your role with the car?
Well, I'm the mother of the driver.
And
so I'm moral support.
And steer the ship.
Right.
And your role with it?
I take the timing and the scoring and the tire temperatures.
Okay, the point I'm trying to get at, folks, is that motorsport needs all the participants that it can find. I've said it so many times, the wives and girlfriends play such a significant role in how well the people do out here. Now, we don't have a female driver here, but that's also possible, correct?
Very true. My sister-in-law is going to race. I will be. I'm starting this season, hopefully, as soon as my ankle gets better.
And we better tell the audience, how did your ankle, I was teasing you, how did you hurt your ankle?
Well, I work at a local packaging company, and I fell in the trailer and dislocated it.
Oh, no great racing story or anything, just a normal...
I wish. It would have been a lot better if I was racing. I would have been more happy about it.
All right, well, listen, girls, if I can say girls, I hope that's not offensive to anyone. I want to thank you guys for participating in our sport and showing our audience that, hey, ladies, come on out, right? Am I great?
That's exactly right.
Room for everybody, and I want to put you 4 to work here. I'd like you to all tip your heads together towards the girl on the crutches just a little bit, and everybody together, I want you to say...
Don't go away, folks. We'll be right back.
Next, we spotted the perennial late model track champion, the man that everyone says they're trying to beat. Let's meet him.
Okay, folks, this is the man. This is the late model point leader. And your name, sir?
Frank Olenski.
And where are you from?
Linwood, Illinois.
And can you tell us a little bit about your car?
Well, it's a brand new car. It's a Monte Carlo. It's owned by Marv Hickson. It's sponsored by Shamrock Windows and Bentley Service Stations, and it's a good car, and we're in good shape with it right now. And I don't know what else I could say,
Well, it looks great. How do you expect to do in the race today?
Well, I hope to do well. If everything goes right, It's hard to tell. A little luck and keep your nose out of trouble, and we'll finish up there, I hope.
Okay, great. Bill, do you want to take over?
Laura, very nicely done. Laura is brand new with us today. This is her first time ever, and I told her when she comes out here, you come out here and say, this is the man. This is the guy, because if you look around these pits, and Chuck, if you broaden your shot and just pan around, every single guy in the pits wants to beat one guy here, and this is the guy. Am I overstating it, Frank?
I don't know.
Come on, you've been around this for a long time. You know you're the guy that everybody's got a target on.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
I guess so too. You're already leading the point standing. What does it look like? Does it look like you're going to get the championship this year?
Well, it's too early to say that, but I'm trying to. We're working. That's our goal. It's Marv Hickson, the car owner, would really like to have it, and I'd like to get it for him.
Well, you've been champion out here before, haven't you?
Yes, 7 times.
Yes, when I said this is the man at Illiana Speedway, I meant this is the man. How old are you now?
48.
And you started here in Illiana about how old?
Well, I started circle racing when I was 30 years old. I started at Raceway Park in Blue Island.
So you started actually a little late.
Oh yeah, I was into drag racing before this.
Okay, you've won the championship out here 7 times. You're 48 years old. I look around here and I see a bunch of young lions, including a Mike White, although Mike White's not really that young anymore. Not one of these guys has yet been able to come up and have you chasing them?
Oh yeah, it's happened, and it's going to happen more and more. There's a lot of good drivers out here and a lot of young guys, and they're hungry and they're ambitious, and it's just a matter of time. And everyone, I can see it coming. Like I say, I'm 48 years old, and there's a lot of guys out here. If they have the ambition that I had when I was 30 years old, and I'm in trouble.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. In fact, Laura, I'm going to tell you a secret now. The reason this guy is the man out here, and he's 48 years old, is you know what wins motor races?
What?
Knowledge, wisdom, and experience. And I'll bet you are not as fast as 30 as you are now at 48.
I have to agree with you.
Because
in my head I might have been. But
exactly. Just being enthusiastic doesn't really get it done, does it?
No, it doesn't. It takes a lot of patience. Like you say, it's a matter of the whiskers. There's no other.
There's no quick way for it.
No, it's just yes.
Let's see how much
process.
Let's see how much time I can save these guys. Let's see what he'll give us. How much stagger do you run here in the rear?
2.5 inches, 3.5 to 3 inches.
You run that much?
Yes.
How about weight balance? Do you run left front heavy?
Yes.
You want to tell us how much?
No.
Okay. I didn't think he'd give us the stagger for that matter.
Look how coordinated this car is too. His pans to the inside, to the outside.
This is a first-class operation, and it has been for years and years and years. Okay, I know they're going to call you out there. I want to thank you for spending a little bit of time with us. I always say best of luck, but I don't think you need it, Frank. But best of luck anyhow. Please don't run away. Sue, racing is going to start here pretty quick. Tell the folks.
Don't go away, folks. We'll be right back.
This was all brand new to me, so I was very excited when we were asked to ride in the pace car for the playing of the national anthem.
The motorcycles participating in the opening ceremonies were there to honor Signey Molenaar in the second annual Signey Molenaar Memorial Race. Of course, we can't bring you all this evening's action, but let's take a peek at the street stock feature.
Thanks, Tina. This is Tim Murtaugh reporting trackside as the street stock feature gets underway with the flash of the green flag at number 13. Jim Raptis in his Monte Carlo all the way from Glen Ellen, Illinois, pushes for the early lead. But car number 18, driven by Jimmy Danaher from Merrillville, Indiana, is tying him on the outside. These cars look evenly matched, but Jimmy Danaher's Olds Cutlass is stuck on the outside. It's Indiana versus Illinois, just the way a track named Illiana would want it. And here comes car number 69, Ken Meyer from Hammond, Indiana, trying to challenge, but I don't think he can make it stick as Raptis and Danaher aren't really finished with each other. Let's take a look further back in the pack as 55, Randy Gifford from Cedar Lake, Indiana, driving a Monte Carlo, is engaged in a furious battle with John Lafreniere in car number 51, another Chevy Monte Carlo. John's from Glenwood, Illinois, and Randy's giving him all he can handle. They're boxed in behind number 69, Ken Meyer, number 8, Tim Moore, and number 16, Mike Wester. Eventually, Randy Gifford and John Lafreniere get by, and Randy wins, only to lose the win to Lafreniere in post-race tech inspection, and that's your street stock feature.
From the street stock feature, let's move to the hotly contested Sportsman division and check out their feature event.
Hotly contested is right, Laura. The Sportsman division has 3 people battling for the track championship, and they're all together here at the drop of the green flag, starting the Sportsman feature. Up front, it's John Rastovsky from Munster, Indiana, driving his number 35 Camaro, being chased by Perry Parker from Gary, Indiana, in his Grand Prix number 19X, followed by Chris Cirincione from Merrillville, Indiana, in his white number 26 Monte Carlo. You met all these guys earlier. Now you can watch them in action. A flawed first attempt to get this feature underway has them all together up front. But remember, these guys are not just trying to win this race, they're trying to win a point championship. Perry Parker is taking a run at Rastovsky. Oh, I think he made contact. And contact as Rastovsky hangs on. Let's look at that from another angle. Perry Parker in 19X is right underneath Rastovsky, number 35, and there was contact. And contact again. That's a 115-mile-per-hour slide, and John Rastovsky hangs on with a fine job of driving. Later in the race, we've still got Rastovsky leading, and Parker breathing down his neck. Parker's taking another run at Rastovsky. Oh, it's close, but no contact. Oh, I spoke too soon. He nailed it again, and again Rastovsky hangs on. This is one heck of a duel between 2 outstanding and aggressive drivers, neither one willing to give an inch, and all the time Chris Cirincione is lurking behind him, waiting to see how this battle's going to come out. He's biding his time. Meanwhile, Parker is taking another run at Rastovsky. Well, I don't know if there was contact, but it was close. Boy, is Parker putting the pressure on Rastovsky. And keep your eye on number 26, Chris Cirincione. He's taking a look at Parker. Later in the race, Parker takes still another run at Rastovsky. There's contact, and again Rastovsky hangs on. What a job of driving. I'm surprised both cars are still on the track. This is an absolute war. Parker closes again, and again Parker tags him, and again he hangs on. What a battle. And as you might have guessed, eventually both cars did spin, and look who was there, ready to take advantage. Number 26, Chris Cirincione, wins his first feature of the season. Back to the studio.
Now, let's roll out the big guys, the late model feature.
And here it is, the big late model shootout, and there's the green flag. It looks like number 17, Duke Nalon from Cherville, Indiana, in his Pontiac Grand Prix, getting the jump on the field from the outside front row. But car number 41, driven by Mike McCulley, also from Cherville, isn't going to let this Cutlass get passed by a Pontiac. Coming up the inside, it's car number 21, driven by the pride of Evanston, Illinois, Bobby Gash. And on the outside, it's John Nutley from Crestwood, looking for an opening. This is a first-class field of late models. Later in the race, number 41, Mike McCulley, is leading with number 14, Larry Middleton Jr. from East Hazelcrest, Illinois, pursuing, and look who's coming up on the inside. It's Frank Olenski and his number 91, and he's flying. Later in the race, Olenski leading comfortably, and there's trouble in turn 2, and many fast cars are involved. Look at them all, including Chicago's own Mike White. When the race resumed, Frank Olenski put some distance on the field, and now on the white flag lap, it looks like the 7-time track champion is going to win the 2nd annual Signey Molenaar Memorial Race. This will be his 3rd feature win of the season and his 102nd Illiana career victory. He's fast and smooth, and more than anything, he wanted to win this very special event honoring Illiana's First Lady. Tim Murtaugh reporting.
A wonderful night of racing, but let's not forget what it was all about.
We're done. was a wonderful, wonderful night of racing. Even though it threatened rain earlier today, it turned out to be a beautiful, beautiful evening. The one thing I want to say, Harry, is I think we did Sig's memory proud. You did a wonderful event tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. I sure appreciate it. I know she would have enjoyed being in something like this as part of it, yes.
No, absolutely no question about it. And watch the way we close this thing. I think you'll appreciate this. Girls, please tell the folks.
This one's for you, Signe.
The Signey Molenaar Memorial Race. She's gone, but not forgotten. Well, we're out of time for this week, with only enough left to acknowledge the fine work of our award-winning production team, including Chuck Itzenthaler, John Kuchan, Keith Hansen, Chris Schutz, John Papke, and Tom McGrady. Special thanks to JBTV's Jerry Bryant. Music is created for us by Fireside Recording Studio in Westchester, Illinois, and by independent artists Roger Pauley and Jerry Herbert. Of course, we have to take a moment to thank the stars of this week's edition of Motorsports Unlimited: Peggy O'Donnell, Sue Kuchan, Laura Lipuma, Tina Liu, and our host, Bill Wildt. Me, I'm Tim Murtaugh, looking forward to a great summer of racing. Thanks for watching. See you next week.
This program made possible in part by support from Myriad Designs, located on Main Street near Curtis in Downers Grove, Illinois.
This program made possible in part by support from Easy Grip Friction Drops Midway Distribution, located in Oak Brook, Illinois.
Motorsports Unlimited is produced by Bill Wildt, president of the Motorsport Advancement Crusade.
This program made possible in part by support from Dependable Carburetor, located on 35th Street, just west of Ashland in Chicago.
This program made possible in part by support from Westbrook Auto Repair, located on Franklin Avenue and Doris Street in Franklin Park, Illinois.
This program made possible in part by support from ABC Auto Parts, located on Ashland Avenue at 138th Street in Blue Island, Illinois.
The Motorsport Advancement Crusade is a non-profit organization dedicated to the preservation and enhancement of motorsport. We are entirely funded by voluntary contributions. For more information, write Motorsport. Oh, you can write the whole thing, Motorsport Advancement Crusade, if you like. But mail gets to us just fine, addressed Motorsport, P.O. Box 66242, Chicago, Illinois, 60666, or just call area code 312-478-4224. We enjoy hearing from our audience and encourage you to call or write.
And next week we're taking you to Joliet for the Winter Circles Car Show. Except this is a boat.
Don't worry, Tina, they have great cars too, like this one here, the Gray Ghost.
Lots of great cars like this fuel event all next week from Joliet.
So that's it, another edition of Motorsports Unlimited and the lovely ladies of Motorsports. And be with us next week because we'll have something real exciting. Bill Wildt's going to have the lovely ladies, and just about anything can happen right here on Motorsports Unlimited. Every week at this time, we bring you the best in motorsports. So be seeing ya. Bye-bye. And keep on rocking.